Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So, welcome back to another market open stream. Today, we may finally get the end of the longest government shutdown ever in history. So, let's talk about that, but also let's talk about why there are many, many signs, besides this one, that a huge reversal is here. All right, let's do it, guys. Let's do it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you can see, yesterday we slid back down to 102.5. Didn't make a whole lot of sense, and now we're back to 104.7. Seems we're like roller coastering these days, but the end is near. We're finally getting that. We're getting the end of the shutdown is what I'm trying to say. The U.S. market is, let's see. Yesterday, Dow actually turned very green, but tech was down. Today, everything's up, only slightly, but that's okay. Coinbase is up. Nvidia's up, Hood is up, even Bitwise is up. So these are good things. And it's because today, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time or 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will get that vote from the House. Okay, and all indications are it's going to pass unless something happens, unless, you know, they've been talking already. Right, so they already kind of know if this is going to go through or not. But I guess it's not guaranteed, but it does. The odds are in our favor, and it's about freaking time. It's been ongoing for way too long, and too much destruction has been done. Again, I don't know. I can't guarantee that, but I'm assuming a lot of the party members, right, have been talking behind the scenes while they were waiting for the Senate to pass, right? And I don't know, maybe that's asking for too much. Maybe none of them gave this any thought until now, and that would be really stupid. But I guess we'll see. But I do think a lot of them are very concerned about this. And FAA is warning still. I'm glad they're warning this. I'm glad they keep pushing this forward, because I truly think this is the only thing that those Congress people really care about is their flights. Basically, the FAA is saying, well, even with the shutdown over, it's going to take some time to get back to normal. It's not like immediately things are just okay. So there will still be, well, there are cancellations. There still will be some cancellations going forward. But, of course, the sooner the shutdown is over, the better. So that's good. But a lot of you guys that are traveling, like, you know, to visit your parents or your kids or wherever, you know, Thanksgiving might not be a good thing. You might be waiting at the airport for several hours, right? And it's gonna suck. No one likes being stuck at an airport for like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. I've been there. Many of my flights have been delayed, or one time one of my flights was delayed for like 8 hours, and finally they decided to cancel it. It sucks. It sucks. And during Thanksgiving, people are trying to visit their families and stuff, and it's going to suck more. So again, hopefully this shutdown is coming to an end very, very soon. All right. Something else. If the Supreme Court orders Trump to repay tariffs, U.S. importers say it wouldn't be messy because they have detailed records, which is good. But where is that stimulus check money coming from then? Because I thought the $440 billion stimulus check was like leftover from all the tariffs that we collected. So if we have to give this back, does that mean there's no more stimulus checks? Or does that mean we're still going to get it, But now, you know, we just created another 440 billion deficit for ourselves. I don't know. I haven't heard a good response about that yet. I guess we'll see. What else? We have the Clarity Bill that's still pressing forward, which is a huge, like a framework bill, okay, for crypto. Outside of the Genius Bill, which is mostly focused on stablecoins, Clarity Bill focuses on CFTC mostly, over what crypto they can control, the ability to make fines and exchanges, you know, all this stuff, right? And they're pushing this forward. And this is a pretty broad framework, but overall, this is pretty good. And this is something that the House needs to vote on also. So maybe right after the government shutdown vote, they'll get to this. I guess we'll see how soon. All right. Outside of these things, what else? This is a really good thing. This could be considered a reversal sign. Yesterday, Bitcoin didn't do all that well, right? But look at this. Look at this. The ETFs took in $524 million, $500 million yesterday. That's a big reversal sign. The day before, on Monday, we barely had anything, 1.2 million, but it was basically zero. And all of a sudden, yesterday, on Tuesday, we get a huge $524 million flow. What does that mean? Well, that means a lot on Wall Street, funds or people, traders, think that it's a good time to load up. A reversal is coming. Otherwise, why would they do that? It's a pretty big inflow day. And yesterday, again, wasn't all that great. Bitcoin didn't really move all that much. But I think that's pretty positive. That's pretty positive. Now, Ethereum did not have such a good day. Ethereum had 107 million outflow, despite Tom Lee and Bitminer still buying hundreds of millions, right? Wall Street doesn't seem to be convinced. And Solana took in a small 8 million. Still positive. 332 million overall for Bitwise and about 19 for Grayscale. But yeah, that Bitcoin inflow, that's pretty telling. There are people on Wall Street that still do like to buy low and buy when others are fearful, okay? Maybe not everyone's like that, because I've said Wall Street is very reactive. People follow the herd. Sometimes they hear a piece of story and then all of a sudden, like 30 minutes later, everyone starts selling. That happens all the time. But I'm sure there are very smart, intelligent traders and also funds that do the reverse, that also load up when others are panicking. So I think yesterday was a good indication of that, because yesterday wasn't a good day for risk on assets either. Tech and AI were selling off big yesterday, and that still happened. So very good. What else? MicroStrategy didn't even, Saylor didn't even say this, but TD Cohen says Strategy is gearing up to buy 6,720 more Bitcoin after its 719 million raise for this new company called Stream, which is basically preferred stock. But yeah, that's like the fifth one now, right? Saylor is going to keep on doing this. He's going to keep on raising and buy more Bitcoin with it. Let's hope this, I think everyone in the industry, including the Bitcoiners, hopes that this is a good strategy and this is not over leveraging strategy in any way, because people still don't quite understand this. Okay. But let's hope this is good. And I think Saylor is very smart. And I saw in the Peterson interview that he did that he came up with this idea by brainstorming with ChatGPT. Like, he's like, I could talk to a million lawyers, a million, people and blah, blah. No one had any clue or had any good ideas. But I just took a few weekends and chat with ChatGPT and figured out something that no one else is doing. Kind of interesting. You can get a lot of ideas from ChatGPT as long as you frame it right and you work with it. All right. Besides strategy, Matador Technology raises $100 million to buy more Bitcoin. They plan on buying 1,000 by 2026 and 6,000 by 2027. So again, the people that believe, they're not going anywhere. They will continue to load up no matter what. Okay? So again, there are a lot of people that are becoming very, very extremely fearful about the market. And, I get it. I get it. Sometimes it just, the market moves in mysterious ways and you don't see a whole lot of positive momentum. But this is part of the growing fundamentals that I talk about, right? As long as you got people and companies and institutions that believe and continue to load up, this is not going to go anywhere. A base is being formed, and that's how you reverse up from it. Michigan State Pension Fund revealed they hold $11 million worth of Bitcoin. That's awesome. And we got states, and then we got retirement funds. We got a whole bunch of funds that now hold Bitcoin. Never happened before. Never happened in Bitcoin's history. This is the only cycle that really kind of jump-started things. Like this concept of a Bitcoin treasury and how it could be good. Not just for individuals, but for like entities and funds and stuff like that. All right, now let's get to some reversal signs. Here's one. And this is talking about how we're reversing back to 124,000. But what is this? Stablecoin supply. I'm going to remove my camera for a little bit. You could see here the ratio between Bitcoin and stablecoins. Whenever it gets to a certain level, that's when Bitcoin reverses. And I'm assuming this is measuring the stablecoin supply as it's growing versus Bitcoin's price. And you can see the last few times that we have hit this mark, this 13.1 ratio, you can see what happened to Bitcoin. And during those times, Bitcoin, again, fell or went sideways. And again, during those times, people got really fearful and said that things are over and we're going down, and that's when things reverse. It happened even earlier this year. When we went down to 70-something thousand, people called our previous 107 top the top of the cycle. A lot of people thought that it was over because we have fallen so much. It was like a 30% drop. It was the very first one of this cycle, basically. But no, we reversed and kept going. And this is showing we're like at that moment, that ratio, we just hit it. So that looks pretty good. What else? There's a lot. Here's a Bitcoin net unrealized profit. I got to remove the camera again. Again, this is just showing that there's a lot of sell pressure. And whenever you get to that point, okay, when there's a lot of fear, a lot of sell, a lot of people selling at losses, that's when we reverse. Every single time. And again, during those times, it's like everyone thinks that the world is ending, basically. right? Here's another one. Here's another one. This is actually measuring, from a chart perspective, a death cross, which for a lot of traders, they say death cross is horrible, right? That means the momentum is gone and bad things are going to happen. But in a lot of cases, that's not the case. Death crosses sometimes means it's a reversal because things have been oversold for so long. And again, this is measuring, it's showing the same thing as the other charts. The last 3 times we had a death cross, guess what happened? Bitcoin started going upwards because it's been consolidating or selling off for way too long. It happened right around this time in 2023. It happened this time right in 2024. It happened earlier this year, again, when we fell down to $70,000. And now it's showing that we're going to have that death cross this month. So these are all bottom signals that's signaling a reversal is around the corner. There's so many of them. There's so many of them. So, and plus you combine all this with the fundamentals that I cover every day and macro conditions that will be improving. It's a recipe for success. It is. All right. Outside of these things, anything else? Yes. Solana is going to get options from Grayscale. Obviously, you know, Solana ETFs are doing relatively well right now. Could be a lot better. But companies are going to take advantage of that because there is institutional interest. So I guess that's a good thing. ZCash, which has been doing very well recently. There's therapeutics company that has rebranded and has turned itself into a ZCash treasury company. Interesting. Interesting. And the Winklevosses are backing it. And then what else? This article talks about how Cardano has completed their shift to full on-chain governance. Okay, this was voted upon. So Cardano becomes the most decentralized chain that we have. And there's like 7 different entities or DAOs or whatever that will be governing Cardano going forward. We'll see if this works. We'll see if this works. You know, every other company on the planet outside of crypto, right, is led by a strong leader or a strong board, right? But the point is, they're individuals. So this is a complete shift in things. The project being controlled by these entities. And I don't know how many people are in the entities. Maybe it's just one, but I don't think so. But this has always been a vision for Charles for many years. At the beginning, he said he wants to make it the most decentralized project in all of crypto. So I guess we'll see. We'll see if this works out. All right. That's pretty much it. NASDAQ turned red, which sucks. Now all of a sudden everyone is talking about AMD, which I've said I was waiting for a dump to buy, but it's, you know, all the momentum is back to AMD, is on AMD right now. Coinbase is still up. That's good. Robinhood turned red. Nvidia turned slightly red. And I think AMD is up like huge because, yeah, it's up 6%. Now somehow everyone thinks that Nvidia is too overpriced, and now people are going for bargains and trying to go for AMD, which I don't blame. But there's a big difference between AMD and Nvidia. Anyways, Bitcoin's down slightly again. Most alts are in the green. but still not very green. I guess we'll have to see what happens with the government shutdown with the vote in the House today. People are still antsy about putting money into tech or crypto right now, but we know a reversal is coming. This gotta be patient and stay strong. All right, let's do some Q&A. I'm feeling tired today. Low energy. I think I slept well, but just not feeling my usual self. I don't know why. I had some crazy dreams last night. Would financing a burrito from Chipotle be a bad idea? I don't know how to answer that. Do I own Circle stock? No. I held it early on, and then I realized it was too overvalued, and they're not a leader in anything, so I said no. I sold it off. I like leaders. Like, maybe not leaders, but you could clearly define that it's leading some kind of category or niche, or it's going to become the leader. So with stock investing, that's what it is. And even with crypto too. I like, all the alts I hold are basically the leaders, I believe. Skipping Stones, ask those questions in Discord. Abdul, continue that up if you want to get banned from the live chat. I did dream about Clash because I was raging yesterday when I was playing. And then I played a lot more afterwards. And I got very close to 15,000. And then I went on a losing streak and I went below 14K. And it got me really irritated. And I believe I was dreaming about Clash. No, I'm not a billionaire. Thoughts about Tesla Roadster? Oh, you mean the first one, not the new one? Nah. It's EV. It's like buying the first iPhone. It's like, it's outdated tech. I would not buy it. The magnetic field is causing everyone all kind of weird stuff. Something is about to change. Maybe. Like today, I'm just not feeling it. I had a decent night of sleep, but man, I was tired as hell when I woke up. I'm still tired right now. So we refund the tariffs, but consumers don't get reimbursed from tariffs overseas. Of course not. If we reimburse the tariffs, okay, we're probably not going to get that stimulus check. And the high prices that we've been paying, we're not going to get a refund on that. So, yeah. Did anyone win Mega Millions yesterday? Because it was like close to $1 billion. Why did the ICP pump so hard in the bear market? You sure about that? I feel like that's a lie. I know some privacy stocks, I mean privacy projects, pumped really hard. Yeah, that chart shows ICP pumped real hard during this bear market. Zero or Orbman 1990. It was $433. It debuted at $433 in 2021. That's crazy. Chart is wrong. This is a 1 year chart, okay? If you're like, oh, that's not fair. That's not fair to show that. Well, 1 year ago, it climbed to $14. Today's Ramsey DEX TG on Hyperliquid is the most aligned DEX. Your thoughts? You know I don't have any thoughts on it, and you know you're just trying to shill it, right? I'll take this super chat of $10, but what's so special about a DEX? You know, there's just useful tools. Even if a TGE is like, what's the big deal about it? And I don't really know. Unless there's something special, then great. But MoveFan 1897, I feel like you're just trying to shill it because you have a bag or something. Congress ain't going to pass that stimulus check, no chance in hell. What if Trump just tells the Treasury to just send it out? Like he does with everything. He just, percent, it like listens to whatever Trump says. So what if he just tells the Treasury to send it out without Congress approval? What's going to happen then? Then you have to wait until the courts either shut it down or whatever, and then like it goes to Congress, Supreme Court again. It'll be funny. It wouldn't be funny, but I wouldn't put it past Trump to do that. If everyone gets $2,000, I don't think anyone would complain. People love free money. Who doesn't? Right? If you get sent a $2,000 check, whether you want it or not, you're probably going to cash it. But the thing is, people don't see the bigger picture. This is what happened in 2020. When all the stimulus checks was being sent out, we increased our money supply by like 30% in like 2 years. That caused at least a 30% inflation, but it caused a lot more than that. All the collectibles went up by hundreds of percents. And it helped things like crypto too, pump. So people just like near-term gains. They don't really care, or most people don't care about like long-term impact. But all these stimulus checks, the money, it's just being printed out of thin air, and that we're using that to hand out. It's like printing IOUs and handing people the IOUs. That's essentially what this is. That's why our deficit keeps going up. We don't have any money as a country, like zero. We owe 38 to 39 trillion dollars. We don't have $440 billion to hand out. Especially they have to give back the tariffs. Visiting Japan anytime soon. I would like to. I would like to. I just don't know when would be a good time. Probably sometime next year. Um, who says we're giving back the tariffs? The Supreme Court is about to say that. And I don't think even Trump will go up against the Supreme Court. I was going to answer some other question, but I forgot. Oh, the Solana breakpoint is in Dubai in December. You know, I was very impressed with breakpoint last year, but they're like real dicks to like people. They don't like marketing people. They don't like KOLs. They're giving them free promotions. So I had a hell of a time just to get tickets to go in, and everyone else I talked to had the same issue. So I don't know what it is with the person in charge of the events or the foundation or something. They don't really like to invite people. They like people to pay to go there, but they don't like to invite people. Now there's a lot of like crazy guys in the chat that says, no, the Supreme Court can't rule them to do anything. Well, then what's the point of having a Supreme Court? And the Supreme Court says return it and they don't. Then what's the point of having checks and balances? Why don't we just change the position to king instead of president? I do feel like a lot of people think that like the presidency is like a king position. Like he could just do whatever he wants. I think for crypto, we all welcome it because like, hey, we're all in crypto, right? So all the favorable crypto regulations are great. The more that we can get, the more freedom that we have, the better it is. But for everything else, I'm not so sure. Yeah, you know, the worst thing is like right now, I think we're giving everyone a free pass in crypto, including Binance, right? There's no doubt about it that Binance is getting a free pass right now. A lot of what happened with the liquidations, the price manipulations, all that, there's one company behind it. It's pointing to Binance. So like and right now, I feel like, yeah, it's a free pass. Like everyone can do whatever they want, right? The dangers of it is it gets so prevalent, like the bad actors, you know, in a few years, we then have like black swan events happen again, right? So that's what we don't want. We're all for like less regulations, but we still have to look at some of these big companies that are doing real harm to the entire industry because they have enough power to do so. So that's the dangers of like what we're going through right now. Have you watched any of the new IT Welcome to Derry? No. What is that, a new show? I did watch Frankenstein. It was decent. There were parts that were very boring, but I like it. It was a new way of telling the story and new way of showing like, I guess it's a different type of movie. I liked it. I liked it. Oh, it's the It spinoff. I never even watched the It movies, so I don't know anything about it. I just know it's like there's a clown in there. So I've never watched any of the It movies. Do you think Bitcoin peak can still be on the cards? Yes. If you haven't been paying attention, all my streams talk about how the peak or the top is not in, the fundamentals are great, and we're going to reverse back up. So, unless this is your very first stream, you should know that is my message. I did watch Predator Badlands, and I do think it's a really good movie, but it's showing more the human side of predators, um, even though they're not humans. But it's showing like, yeah, they go through the same thing, validation, proving themselves to their family, and all that stuff. It's just kind of weird that they incorporated these like human androids in there. Um, they didn't really need to do that, but they like kind of forced it in, so like you kind of see some humans in there. Is 50 25 25 still a thing? It is. It is. 50% Bitcoin is still totally necessary. Actually, the people that have more than 50% have benefited the most this cycle. Some people like Bitcoin maxis, they're laughing all the way to the bank because they have done the best. Basically, like no alts have outperformed Bitcoin this cycle, but at least 50%. And then 25% of big caps, which I still think are going to do well, like the ones that have their ETFs or will get their ETFs. And then 25% in whatever else, like Clash, for example. Micro caps, small caps, mid caps. But I have high hopes for Clash. So I do think it's going to come up greatly when the market reverses. What are your thoughts on SoFi offering and insuring crypto? The thing is, I got to look into that. That CEO was spreading a lot of FUD about everyone else. They are the first FDIC bank that offers crypto trading. Okay, yes, the bank part FDIC insured. The crypto part, as far as I know, there's no insurance on the planet that can cover the crypto part. There's like limitations. Not even Coinbase has enough insurance to cover all their holdings. I don't think SoFi does either. I think their message is confusing. So I have to look more into it. But they were basically shitting on everyone else, saying like, oh, none of them are like, you know, regulated. None of them have all this and that and this. I don't know if that's all like reality. It's sold in a funk or it will break out. It is in a funk. I mean, it's up 3% today, but it's still only at 160. It was, when I debuted Clash, it was at like 230s. And then it went down to like 180s. Now it's like 160. Obviously, it's not in a good position compared to just a few months ago. But no alt is doing well right now. You know, ETH is at 3,500. It was at 4,500 a few months ago. Retail confidence is just so low right now. A little bit about Clash. The tournament for this week, I'm going to be opening the entries page, which is this tournament page. But right now it's removed, but I'm going to be opening it up soon today. I don't think I'm going to change any rules. Last week was very successful. We had close to 300 people. Everyone enjoyed themselves. A lot of normal people just in Discord won top 10. And the prizes are still huge. And you could double your prize by having 20,000 Clash, which isn't a whole lot. But yeah, so this is going to be opening. And then I showed you guys the prediction market platform that we're working on, which is going to be really good. Really, really good. Prediction markets are going to be one of the big things in crypto, obviously. So many people are now developing their own. Polymarket is leading the way. They're worth a whole bunch of money. Bottom line is people like to place bets. People like to gamble, right? So we're going to allow that for Clash and its tournaments and everything around Clash. So prediction market's coming. And yeah, that's the big thing that we're working on. Stop asking about the market bell, man. Any thoughts on level 16? Yeah, I don't think anyone wants level 16 in Clash because it's more like pay to play, but whatever. They have to do something to keep the game interesting. It's an all-time high. Like, basically, it's making so much money for them. They're going to keep pushing the envelope. PK Hats asks, meme coins a lot of community backing, interactions at socials, but price keeps going down. What do you suggest for such cases? I suggest what we're doing for Clash. That's why I don't call it a meme coin. I call it community coin. You gotta build. You gotta do something. We're different because not only is it backed by me, but we have these tournaments that bond people together every week. No other meme coin has that. It's just all cheerleading. And now we're building out a prediction market that's going to make it even more interesting to participate. No one else does that. So all these other memes keep dropping and dropping and dropping because there's nothing of substance behind them other than a community, which is fine, because when the bull market comes back, those community members will keep on FOMOing and they will go back up. But what we're building right now, we have a great community already and we're building. So that's why when the market comes back, nothing's going to stop Clash. It's going to be unstoppable. So that's the difference. That's why we're different than everyone else. And we got a whole bunch of funding too in our treasury now because of our NFT sales, which again, most meme projects do not. I'm very close to one of the, I hired a community manager from, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to call them out too much, but it's a well-known meme. Well-known meme that a lot of people asked me about last year or earlier this year. And basically the person I hired said that the founder doesn't talk to any of the people running the project anymore. The community members are doing it for free. They're running the socials, they're managing the Telegram or Discord or whatever. They're coming out the memes, but they have no treasury, they have no budget to do anything. They have no interaction with the founder, who's just basically, you know, spending his money. And that's how most meme projects are. It's like the founder like may have created it and then they just like step away and then they let everyone else run it. That's not how Clash is. All right, guys, that's it. Stay strong, my friends. We got a lot of reversal signs. May not be right now, but we got so many. And plus, we got the big House vote today at 3 p.m., somewhere around there. Okay, so let's see what happens then. Smash up the likes, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight. All right, have a good one. Take care.